here. Lovely big windows, plenty of light. We've got the headlining, which was refitted when we did the boat a few years ago. Really lovely and warm. We put some insulation up under the ceiling as well, actually did that. So when you've got the heaters turned on, the electric heaters, you do actually get a bit too toasty in here, to be honest. But that's really good, especially here in the UK. So I will just show you. So this table here, there is a separate top to this table, which I'll show you in a bit. It's a top which is a bigger table that kind of slides on the top. So if you wanted a bigger version of the table, then that already comes. In addition to what that does is that tabletop actually sits on top of these, and it turns, basically a couple of cushions get thrown on there and it turns into a double berth. So great for the kids and all that. So we'll just pan around here. So you can see here we've got a electric radiator heater. That does the job really nicely. When you kind of close the hatch, actually, if you close the hatch and then kind of close the door, once you've got that going, it's really warm. In terms of heating, it is only the electric heating we've got that one there. We've also got some tube heaters in the main cabin at the front of the boat. I'll show you them shortly, but yeah, you do need to be connected up to shore power for that. We don't have any diesel heaters or anything like that. In terms of lighting, we've got all LED lights in here. So we've got one of the black one there, and there's another one there. I've got also a couple of these little ones. These are ones that you just plug into USB. They charge up. They're kind of sensor ones, but they, to be honest, they work really well. But if you wanted to fit an essential one, then yeah, you feel free, you could do so. I can't really think of anything much else to say in this saloon. I think I mentioned on the previous video, we've got that scan strut, which is a USB connector. That's great because if you want to hook up the tablet on that mount there to that, then you can kind of do so. The one thing I really like about this boat is that you can kind of be inside the boat, still up here, whilst you're kind of sailing along, and you've still got really good visibility, and you're completely protected and comfortable from the elements, and you know, you can sit there and you can adjust your course if needs be. So in terms of going long distance overnight, it's really comfortable. I'll just pan around there. So what I'll do is I'll do kind of one hull at a time. So this is a kind of a single berth here. We've actually got the batteries just underneath, so they're the main house bank. I'll come and show you them shortly. And then we've kind of got here plenty of storage there, typical sorts of odds and sods that you would have on the boat. These are the windows, and so the brilliant thing about these windows is that you can open them, all of them you can actually open, and they fold in like that. Even no matter how much it's raining, no, they stay nice and dry. We don't have any problems with these windows. We haven't got any leaks, so they're really good. Same, there's another kind of 12-volt light we got there. So apart from the storage that we've got here, we're moving forward. So this is into the main cabin. Apologize, I've got some of my bits and bobs in here, so it is a bit messy. First of all, I'll show you, this is the tabletop that I was referring to. So I just store in here to keep it out the way, but if you wanted to have that up, then you literally just slots in there, really nice. But just behind that, you've kind of got more storage there for all sorts of, you've just got life jackets and bits and bobs. And you've got these big kind of lockers there at the front. I've got some of the cushions there, which are the exterior cushions. This is what they look like. I didn't show that on the exterior video, but they're custom made just for our cockpit, and so I keep them obviously stored in the inside when we're not using them for obvious reasons. As well, we've kind of got more lighting in this cabin, but I'll just do a quick pan round just to show you. So it's a huge cabin, absolutely enormous. It's kind of got the full width of the boat. It's actually, I think it's a super king size in terms of its width. We're a small family, we've got a young child, so we actually kind of, all three of us kind of sleep in here. But in terms of sleeping arrangements, you know, 2 adults obviously more than comfortably in here, and you've got another berth there, and you've also got the 2 extra berths, so you probably comfortably, you know, up to 5 people easily on this boat here. And there's also a couple more of the LED lights that you got there. You've got three actually of these tube heaters here. So you've got one there, you've got the other on the other side, and there's a long one just underneath down by your feet. So when you're plugged in and you're sleeping on board, particularly in the marina, you keep nice and toasty in here. And because they're tube heaters, they don't draw hardly anything. So they're really comfy. These are custom mattresses that we got. They're quite firm, but that's how I love them that way. Really comfortable. Below this, we've kind of got this kind of anti-mold matting. So basically it's designed so obviously it just allows for kind of air to pass through underneath. And again, we haven't had any problems with that. Nice and lovely and dry. And so that matting was a really good buy, to be honest. And so, yeah, like you said, if you wanted something like it was quite firm, but if you wanted to put a topper on to make it softer, then you can absolutely do so. This is actually the sail under there. I'll come into that in a bit. Apart from that, I don't think there's anything else. In terms of ventilation in here, there is just these two windows that open. They're the only ones then there, but you do have the option of taking those out completely. So if it's a particular hot night, just take them out and then you can have air through between the two, or you can just leave them in like that and they can close. And you've kind of got the curtain rails here as well if you needed, if you want to put the curtains up. We took the curtains off actually because over time, obviously leaving the curtains in the boat, they end up just getting the ones when we bought it, they're a bit moldy, and to be honest, we haven't actually replaced them. We actually just put these like blackout blinds over it instead. Just that worked out to be a lot better for us, but if you wanted to do something yourself, then that's fine. There is an electric point over there just on that side of the bed, just where that light's plugged in there too. So whilst we're here, on to the sails. So I haven't actually talked much about the sails. There's 3 sails in this boat. There's 2 mains and 1 Genoa that it comes with. There is a spinnaker pole, which I didn't show on the exterior video. However, you can buy them quite easily, but we don't have a spinnaker on this boat. We've never needed it or used it. So a major advantage is this is a brand new sail, main sail, from One Sails. These are the new battens as well. They got fitted, and I've got it just stored under here. I'd fitted up just to check it, but I got it stored kind of comfortably on here, neatly, obviously out the way. I didn't want to put it up outside because I just wanted to reduce any UV that he gets to it. But it's a laminate sail, and it's yeah, I mean, it's perfect condition. Like I said, we've put one reef. There's one reef that's just been fitted in this, and it's got the slides that we've just been fitted in. So this is literally an unused brand new sail that we've got there. And the Genoa, the age of the Genoa is unknown, but it's a Dacron cloth, but it's in perfect condition. Well, I say perfect condition. It's obviously used condition, but it's not really showing any signs of major wear, and it's got plenty of use in it. With these boats, to be honest, many people actually sail most of the time on the Genoa. Sometimes when you put the there's people have had issues when you run the main up, it can kind of conflict sometimes with the Genoa. So it can comfortably go. We've had it going with a breeze of about 11 knots. Just with the Genoa, we were going about 4.5 knots, and that's just with 11 knot breeze. Obviously, not taking into account tide. That was just the boat speed. So I mean, that's a pretty good effort really for just that one Genoa. I think then that's pretty much it in the front cabin there. So I'm going to make my way aft here down now. What we'll do now is I'll show you the batteries. Okay, so the boat was completely rewired, like literally every wire was taken out and replaced. Over years, obviously, it's nearly pretty much a 50-year-old boat. You know, people are going to do all sorts of these boats, and so, you know, it's naturally, but I think it was time for it to have a bit of an overhaul, and so that's what we did. So take this one out here and I'll just show you. So here we are. So really lovely and neat. You've got 2 massive 140 amp lead acid batteries in there. That's the charge controller for the solar panel at the front. You've also got a Victron shore power charger with a point, and got shunt. That's because we have a Victron battery monitor, and this was wired up by a marine electrician. Again, I can show you the invoice, just covering all the work that was done for that. So what's happened? Bring that on there. Right, so now onto the head. So this isn't a, this head was taken, the original bathroom head, whatever you call it, was taken out by a previous owner. So we've just done, it's kind of been slightly, I suppose, redone, I guess, really. Now, as you can see here, it's kind of got your sink there. Does work. I haven't got it turned on there, but it's all kind of plumbed in. You've got access to underneath here. You've got access for some of your there's a through hole, not a through hole, what do you call it, it's for the bilge pumps. That's where that pumps out of, that goes through there. I'll come on to the bilges in a minute. So basically we've just got the porta potty installed. There is two underneath. There's the intake seacock and the outlet seacock for sea toilet if you want it installed. We replaced the intake one with a True Design one. That's there in place, so you wouldn't even need to take the boat out the water to kind of get that fitted. To be honest, this has actually worked really well for us. Haven't had to deal with any kind of nasty smelly pipes. Whenever we use it, we just I bring it home and empty it. And for me, that works. But, you know, a new owner, if you want something different, if you want the sea toilet, then it would be a really easy installation. Behind that, you can see that metal grid. That actually gives access down to the starboard side engine. So you got, in addition to the full access of the engines that you've also got access via there. It just makes it, changing the impeller and like the filters, like the oil filter at the front of the engine, it makes it so much easier. That wasn't done, that was put in by a previous owner, by the way. And that's roughly about it on the head. So I'll move over to the port side of the boat now. So this is the galley. I do apologize for that glare there. I think it's when the sun catches it, it gets worse. It's not a standard Catalac galley. Again, it's a few owners ago. The original one was ripped out. To be honest, this one works actually very well for us, and so we've actually kept it as is. Just to show you what we've got here, again mirrored on the other side, you've kind of got your storage for your pots and pans and food and whatnot there, but this is really good storage here. This is actually a convection oven and microwave. So you can cook pizzas in there, you can cook all sort of microwave meals, everything actually works really, really well. In terms of food, there's no gas on the boat, it is purely electric. We also have this little plug-in electric hob. In addition to this, we also use one of those single burner camping stoves, and I set up my little table outside, and I just kind of normally I fry up bacon and eggs outside on there on that little gas burner hob. And that's for me a very simple, zero maintenance solution to having to worry about gas and gas bottles and all that. The gas one that was disconnected and removed a number of owners ago, it was, but to be honest, we haven't been interested in reinstating that at all. Got great storage underneath, you know, bins, you've got fire extinguishers. There's fire extinguishers on this side and also on the other side of the boat as well. We've also got fire blankets too. There's a CO2 alarm also, which is just in this nav room, which I'm about to show you. Great storage underneath. So reasonable amount of countertop space, and you've got the sink there. This is for some of the plumbing. I'll show you here. So you got the pump there, and yeah, it's all neat. It all works, and it's all good. And so moving forward, this is obviously, I don't really need to show you too much up here. I've already kind of shown you kind of, but it's essentially mirrored effectively what's on the other side of the boat. So going back aft again, there's good amount of plugs on here. So we've got one here, we've got one here, we've got one in the up in the forward cabin, which I showed you, and I'll show you in here. So this is actually I guess a nav room. It used to be there used to be a berth in here. So there used to be a berth that kind of went now. I think for good reason, a previous owner, not us, removed that berth. Now the reason why is because access for maintenance on that engine was an absolute nightmare. It pretty much sat over the engine, so any maintenance on the engine had to be done nearly blindly. So that was then removed. There is an access plate underneath, similar to the other side, so you've got really good access to the front of the engine, so you can do easy maintenance for changing all the filters and everything like that. I just realized there is a separate video I've done specifically for the two engines, so I will upload those separately. But